A very good afternoon to one and all present today. As we know, today we are going to have the session for study in Ireland, wherein we are going to tell you about the product, the application, as well as the visa norms for the study in Ireland. To start off with the Ireland, we will have the Miss Artidhar from in Delhi branch. She is going to take care for the product training. Then we have Miss Swati from the admission team. She's going to tell you more about the application process, and then Mr. Sagar from the visa team. So to start off with, we will start for the product training with Miss Artidhar.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Aarti. I'm the branch manager at Delhi head office. And today I'm here to talk about and tell you, a brief introduction about Ireland as a product, why you should encourage students to, go and study in Ireland, what are the advantages of studying in Ireland, what type of universities are present in Ireland, and, so on. Of course, visa team and admission team will help you with other visa related and application related queries. So let's start with the presentation. So I'll start sharing my screen. So I believe all of you can see my screen. Yeah.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Yes. So let's start Ireland product training. So in this presentation, we are going to talk about Ireland, why Ireland is a suitable location for international students to go and study, facts about Ireland, Ireland education system, top institutions of Ireland, popular courses in Ireland, distance and time difference between different cities of Ireland and from India to different cities of Ireland, lifestyle in Ireland, which will include our part-time work rights and other details, and post-study work rights in Ireland for an international students. Now, this is the physical map of Ireland, wherein you can see 4 states very clearly. So these are 4 provinces. Previously, it was divided into 4 provinces. They were Connaught, Munster, Leinster, and Ulster. However, now, if you see the political map of Ireland, there are 32 countries overall in Ireland. So we can say that Ireland is made up of altogether 32 small countries, which is together called Ireland. Ireland is definitely rated as one of the most friendliest and safest country in the world. Now, this is the placement of Ireland on the world map. And Ireland is the 2nd largest island in the British Isle, 3rd largest island in Europe, and 20th largest island on Earth. Ireland is divided between the Republic of Ireland, formerly named Ireland, which covers 5/6 of the island, and Northern Ireland, which is a part of UK. Now, brief introduction. Prime Minister of Ireland is Mr. Michael Martin, and the monetary unit which is being operational in Ireland is euro. So €1 right now is approximately 81.01 INR. Now we have to keep in mind the currency conversion rates because this is helpful when we are discussing with the students about their financial planning, what all funds are required for tuition fees, living expenditures, travel expenditures. So having an brief information about ongoing currency rate is always helpful while counseling the students. National language is Irish and English. So the population is approximately 0.50 crores. The capital city is definitely Dublin. Popular cities for international students other than Dublin, where there are good education options, they are Cork, Galway, Limerick, Waterford, Kilkenny, etc. National animal is Irish hare. Now this slide show you the seasons of Ireland. Typically there are 4 seasons. Winter, which is between December to February. The temperature ranges between 4 degrees to 6 degrees Celsius, and January being the coldest month. Then comes spring, which ranges between March and May, and the average temperature in spring is 8 degrees to 12 degrees Celsius. After spring comes summer. June to August summer season is there, and the average temperature is between 16 to 20. And then comes autumn. Autumn is between September to November, and in this duration the temperature is between 14 degrees to 18 degrees Celsius. So the temperature is normally warmer during summer and autumn. However, spring also has decent temperature. Now, time difference. So Ireland follows daylight saving process. So because of which, similar to UK, Ireland also is 4.5 hours behind Indian Standard Time in summers and 5.5 hours behind in winters. So it is similar to UK. So in summers it's 4.5 hours only, and in winters it is 5.5 hours behind Indian Standard Time. Okay, so now Ireland. Why Ireland could be a great choice? So there are several factors that make Ireland a very attractive destination for international students. One could be low education cost, and reason being, the bachelors are generally for 3 years, similar to what India has. So the BScs, BCom, BA, this is all for 3 years, unlike US and Canada, which they provide bachelors for 4 years. High visa success rate. So if your all documentation, your funds are all on place, so visa success rate is pretty good in Ireland. Part-time jobs are available, and international students are allowed to work part-time in Ireland, and there are a lot of companies available, so part-time jobs are also available, and international students always get good benefits, experience, exposure from these part-time jobs. European hub for many IT and pharmacy companies. Dublin is the kind of Silicon Valley of Europe. So you name the IT company and the pharma company, even the financial companies also, they have the hub in Dublin or one or the other cities of Ireland. So this makes the country highly employable for these people, students who are studying particularly these courses. Now, post-study work rights of 2 years for PG students. So after the course completion, PG courses are for 1 year, and so that is why the cost is again effective. So you will complete your masters in 1 year rather than 2 years in comparison to other countries. So masters completion will give you 2 years of post-study work rights, and an undergrad degree completion will give you 1 year of post-study work right in Ireland. IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, all English tests are acceptable by Ireland University. So it is not really required to go for only IELTS or only PTE. You can go for either of it, whichever exam you feel comfortable with, and the universities will give you admission, and there will be no problem with the visa processing also for the same. World-class education, the universities, although Ireland has very limited number of universities, but majority of them have very high rank in QS World Ranking. So world-class education is there for sure. Professors are highly qualified, and students across the globe are coming to have the education from there. Now, multicultural environment, of course, if students are coming from different countries, so the culture is always good. Students are interacting with a lot of people across the globe, and the environment is very friendly for international students. So let's talk about some facts which make Ireland a very attractive destination. Now, Ireland's education system is amongst the best in the world. It is ranked in the top 10 globally as an education system that meets the needs of a competitive economy. Ireland is a stable, competitive, secure, and pro-business country with the fastest growing economy in the Eurozone. Ireland ranks first globally for attracting and retaining international talent. Now, this is the point that is very important for us, and you can always pitch in for students who are considering different countries, and has Ireland in one of his as one of their options. Now, proportionally, Ireland has the fourth highest international workforce in the EU. Ireland has world-class universities with quality education and superb infrastructure. Most of the universities in Ireland have massive campuses that are spread over acres of land. These campuses have buildings for different fields of studies, sports centers, big libraries, student accommodation, playing field, grocery shops, etc. It is world's second largest exporter of software. So we have to keep this also in mind. Ireland universities are known for their computer and software related programs. Some universities, I would like to add here that some universities in Ireland provide scholarships up to 100% on the basis of academic mark, SOPs, and letter of references. So these are some facts about Ireland, why and how you should promote Ireland as an attractive study destination. Although now Ireland has definitely picked up the market and people have started applying to many universities in Ireland, and the number of students traveling to Ireland has increased. Now let's do a country comparison, and we will compare on different parameters. One is economical, that will be the fee structure, or then master's duration, English proficiency test, visa approval rate, and spouse visa approvals. And the countries that we are comparing are UK, Ireland, and Canada. So UK, the tuition fees ranges between 11 to 18 lakhs per year. Ireland, the tuition fees is between 8 to 12 lakh per year. Canada, the tuition fees ranges between 8 to 10 lakh rupees. Master's duration in the UK and Ireland is for 1 year. However, in Canada, master's duration is for 2 years. English proficiency test, UK English test is not mandatory. In Canada, of course, it is mandatory. However, we have to note that in Ireland also it is mandatory. So, but then unlike Canada, where for SDS visa, as you all must have got the training by now, IELTS is required for SDS visa. But in Ireland, there is nothing like that. You can take up IELTS, you can take up PTE, you can take up TOEFL, whichever English test you are comfortable with and your university accepts. And all these tests are being accepted by universities. Now, visa approval rate, all these three countries have good visa approval rate. Spouse visa approval, here I would definitely like to point out this information that you have to keep in mind, that UK has a good spouse visa approval rate and Canada has a we can say poor spouse of visa approval rate, because that has to be applied separately and have a whole waiting time altogether. In Ireland, spouse visa or dependent is not allowed. However, if you wish to go, you can go take a tourist visa, go and meet your family members and come back. So this point is a point we keep in mind while counseling or pushing Ireland to students. Okay, so Ireland education system. So Ireland education system is similar to what we see in India. Primary education is still year 8. Secondary education is there. And then after the 12th or secondary education, the students are diverted. The local students are either going for further education, that could be technical or vocational, and there are tertiary institutions wherein universities, Institute of Technologies, colleges of education, NUI colleges. NUI means National University of Ireland colleges. There are different colleges under NUI, and these colleges provide different type of courses and diplomas for students, domestic students primarily, because in Ireland the application will be processed for degrees. So NUI colleges degree diplomas would majorly for domestic students and independent colleges. So we as an international advisors or agencies have to consider universities and Institute of Technologies as our prime focus to put on applications. Now, type of tertiary institutes in Ireland. Universities, they are government funded, offer degree programs at bachelor's, master's and doctorate level. Profit, not-for-profit, private, not-for-profit colleges. These are private and independent, and they offer programs at bachelor's and master's level. Institute of Technologies, which are also called ITs. So Institute of Technologies are also, there are several Institute of Technologies in Ireland wherein students are going for degrees and especially, of course, technology related degrees and getting visas, and after that getting good jobs. So these they have programs of education and training in business, science, engineering, linguistics and music to certificate, diploma and degree levels. So all these courses are there in these institutions. Then there is College of Education, which specializes in training for primary school teachers. Now we'll talk about the intakes. So there are typically two main intakes. One is fall intake, which is September intake, and another one is spring intake, which is January intake. Majorly the undergrads are only at fall intake. Very few will get undergrad applications or undergrad options open for January intake. So we have to keep that in mind also, similar to what UK follows. Otherwise, few private colleges might have an April intake also. For masters, majority of the program are in fall intake and January intake. So we have to keep on checking the website for the exact intake of each courses because that's clearly mentioned on the website. So it is not mandatory that every master program is available in January also. However, September, yes, all of them are available. So we have to check the website and then commit to the student about the next available intake if fall intake is being missed by the student. Now, if you see this map, it shows some universities in Ireland, the distribution. Of course, Dublin is the hub for sure. And majority of the development happening is going around Dublin, but then other areas are also good enough to go and study. Now, popular universities or good ranked universities of Ireland are National University of Ireland, NUI, Galway, University College Dublin, UCD, Trinity College Dublin. I'm sure all of you must have heard about UCDs, Trinity, NUIs. Then there is University of Limerick, University College Cork, Maynooth University, Dublin College University. So there are other universities also, but these are few highly ranked universities. Now, in the beginning of the presentation, I told you that initially Ireland was divided into 4 provinces. So majorly the institutions are concentrated in 3 provinces, Munster, Leinster and Connaught. So I'll just go through the list of universities which are in Munster. So Munster province has University of Cork, University of Limerick, Limerick Institute of Technology, Atlantic Aviation Institute. Leinster has Trinity, since Leinster has Dublin city inside that province, so you will see all the Dublin colleges and universities here. Trinity College Dublin, University College Dublin, Dublin City University, Maynooth University, Dundalk Institute of Technology, Technological University Dublin, which is called TUD, and Institute of Technology Carlow, Athlone Institute of Technology, AIT, National College of Ireland, Dublin, Dublin Business School, Griffith College, IBAT College, Dublin. Now, Connaught has National University of Ireland, Galway, Institute of Technology, Sligo or IT Sligo, Galway Business School, Shannon College of Hotel Management. It is a part of NUI Galway College. So these are the typical universities wherein students go and study, international students go and study. Popular courses. this list names only few. However, of course, these are the most popular courses. So in Ireland, however, the universities and colleges have a list of courses which a student can study. It covers almost all the programs in different sectors also, but the popular ones would be business analytics, digital marketing, artificial intelligence, engineering, data analytics, cybersecurity. However, we must include here financial degrees, because financial and pharmaceutical companies are equally active in Dublin. Now, if you see this slide, you will see how important Ireland is in the job market, in the company's presence. So Ireland is chosen by 9 out of 10 top US technology companies. All of the top 10 pharmaceutical company offices are present in Ireland, typically Dublin. The top 5 global software companies are present in Dublin, or you can say Ireland. Now, 14 out of top 15 medical technology companies have their offices in Ireland. 8 out of top 10 industrial automation companies are present in Ireland. 8 out of top 10 financial service companies are present in Ireland. So I hope you can understand how good is the job market of Ireland, particularly in these sectors. So the student who are going for these kind of programs will definitely have good job profiles. However, this is not the only areas where you can get the job. People of other areas are also getting job, which includes definitely HRM, marketing, because all these companies require these kind of people. Finance and accounting is anyways there. So various sectors, job vacancies are there in Ireland. So let's talk about the difference in distance and time from Ireland to from Dublin, different cities of Ireland from India. So Dublin is 7,869 kilometers away from India, and the shortest flight take 10 hours and 12 minutes to reach. Belfast, which is in UK, is 7,826 kilometers from India, and time by flight is 13 hours and 55 minutes. Cork, it is approximately 8,000 kilometers from India, and the shortest flight take 14 hours and 5 minutes. Limerick is 8,000 kilometers away from India, and the shortest flight take 13 hours and 40 minutes. Kilkenny is 7,946 kilometers, and the time taken by the shortest flight is 10 hours and 43 minutes. Derry, it's 7,900 kilometers away from India, and the time taken by the shortest flight is 10 hours and 12 minutes. Galway is 8,053 kilometers away from India, and the time taken by flight is 10 hours and 50 minutes. So these are the, and we see here time difference is 5.5 hours. I have written here. So as I have already discussed that in summers it is 4.5 hours behind, and in winters it is 5.5 hours behind. So I'll discuss the distance and the time difference within Ireland, different cities of Ireland from Dublin. So here I have taken cities: Dublin to Belfast, Dublin to Galway, Dublin to Cork, Dublin to Limerick, Dublin to Derry, and Dublin to Kilkenny. Now Dublin to Belfast, which is in Northern Ireland, which is under in UK, is 141 kilometers from Dublin, and is by car it takes 1 hour and 45 minutes, and by flight it takes 3 hours and 50 minutes. Now Dublin to Galway is 44 minutes by flight and 2 hours and 8 minutes by car. However, the distance is 208 kilometers from Dublin. Now Cork is 240 kilometers from Dublin, and by flight it takes 3 hours and 45 minutes, and by car it takes 2 hours and 43 minutes. Limerick is 175 kilometers away from Dublin, and it is 3 minutes by flight, and by car it takes 1 hour and 59 minutes, approximately 2 hours. Derry is 200 kilometers away from Dublin, and it is 1 hour and 25 minutes away by flight, and by car it takes 2 hours and 46 minutes. Kilkenny is 123 kilometers away from Dublin, and it is 38 minutes by flight and 1 hour and 26 minutes by car. There is no time difference between these cities as they all follow Irish Standard Time. So, yeah. Now, very important slide. This is a lifestyle or the kind of annual expenditure an international student bear in Ireland. As we see, the major expense in any of the country, wherever we go, the major expenses of rentals. So if we calculate rentals, utilities, food, books, clothes, travel, mobile, and social life, so annual expenditure of an international student ranges can go up to 12,000 euros. So this is what an international student need to show funds also. So variable between 8,000 euros to 12,000 euros, depending on the kind of expenditure the student occurs, or the city also where the student is going. So then we can conclude from this slide that average living expenditure is approximately 12,000 euros for an individual who's going to Ireland for studies. Indian food is available, easily available in Ireland. So now many of the Indians or Bangladeshis are running food stalls and restaurants in Ireland, and people really do not have much of a challenge now as far as food is concerned. Okay, now part-time work rights. International students are allowed to work part-time legally in Ireland. Okay, now we have to keep a note of the duration where the students can work full-time and when the students can work part-time when they are there on the student visa. Now, all the bachelor's and master's degree students can work 20 hours a week when their semesters are on. And there are, declared time frames during the year by Ireland government wherein the students can work full time, and this is a pre-declared thing. So we have to keep a note and tell the student, discuss with them when they can work full time. Full time means 40 hours per week. So these are June, July, August, September. So these are the months wherein the students have semester breaks, and they are allowed to work full time. And summer break, winter break, 15 December to 15th of January. So during these two time only the students can work full time, rather than otherwise across the year the students will be working 20 hours a week. Now minimum wages for an international student is currently 9.15 euros per hour. Post-study work rights. Now, post-study work rights could be 1 year or 2 year depending on your course. So as I discussed earlier, if you are doing a bachelor's, the post-study work right would be for 1 year. If you are doing the master's, the post-study work right would be for 2 years. So once you do your bachelor's or master's, you get stamp 2 visa. Once you get your education completed, you get work permit of 1 to 2 years, which is stamp 1G visa. And in due course of time, once you are done with your post-study work rights, you apply for your work permit. And in due course of time, the students or the workers go ahead and apply for green card, which is the citizenship of Ireland. So yes, Ireland could be a positive country wherein in due course of time students get their residencies or green card. So with this, I conclude my presentation.
Now we will have a break of 5 minutes and we will continue our session regarding the application and visa after the break. Thank you. Welcome back. So now we're going to have the session from the admission team. Swati will talk about the admission process in the Ireland, the requirement, and how the process goes on. Over to you, Swati.
Thank you, Nirja. Hello, everyone. Now we'll start the Ireland application process. So I'll just share my screen. So first we'll start with the entry requirements and duration of the program. So a bachelor degree in Ireland is of 3 to 4 years of duration. It can be of 3 years also, 4 years also. The percentage required can be of 70 to 80%, and the IELTS requirement can vary from 6.5 to 6.0 depending upon the institute requirement. At master's level, the duration of the degree is of 1 year, and the academic requirement is 55% to 75%. Again, it varies from institute to institute. And similarly, the IELTS requirement 6.5 or 6.0 depending upon the institute. Types of English proficiency test. As mentioned in our previous presentations also, there are 3 English proficiency tests that are acceptable: IELTS, PT, and TOEFL, and all of them are acceptable in Ireland. Here are the sample of IELTS, PT, and TOEFL, just for your reference. Application assessment. These are the application assessment factors on the basis of which we assess an application. First is eligibility, in which we check the academic and English proficiency of the student. If the student is meeting the academic requirement of the institute or not, the scores they have scored in the last qualification, and how much they have scored in the English proficiency test. Background, in which we check the educational background of the student, if they have done the relevant program before applying for the program. Like for example, a student is applying for MBA, and if they have a business background or not. Work experience documents are required if a student is having any employment history. Gap in studies, 3 or 4 months of gap is acceptable. If a student is having 6+ months gap, then we need an SOP or a documentary proof of the gap if the gap is of more than 1 year. Process flow. Once the university has been finalized, you need to add the application on the CRM along with the application form, if any, and the documents of the student. The documents should be original scanned. For an undergrad application, we require the 10th and 12th mark sheet and passing certificate, English proficiency test, and a passport copy of the student. For a master's applicant, we require the the bachelor degree mark sheet and bachelor degree passing certificate, backlog certificate if available, 10th and 12th mark sheet, English test, passport copy, and work experience documents if applicable. Along with these documents, we also require some supporting documents such as SOP, CV, and 2 LORs. After collecting all these documents, you need to add these on CRM and assign the application to us. And then we'll assess the application. If everything looks fine, we'll process the application to the institute. Otherwise, we'll let you know if there is any pending. Our turnaround time to process an application is 48 hours. After we process the application, then we need to wait for the outcome of the application within the university turnaround time. which can be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending upon the university. After processing the application, a student can either get a conditional offer letter, an unconditional offer letter, or rejection letter. If the student gets a conditional offer letter, then they need to meet all the conditions as mentioned in the offer, and they can meet that by providing the documentation or the information to the institute. After getting an unconditional offer letter, student needs to pay the acceptance fee to the institute and accept the offer letter. After paying that fee, the student will receive a fee receipt from the institute, and after getting that fee receipt, you can apply for visa. Here is a sample of application form. On your left, there is a completely filled application form, and on your right, an incomplete application form. So you need to provide completely filled application forms to avoid any delays in the application. Backlog certificate. If student is having any backlog in their bachelor degree, then they need to provide a backlog certificate from their academic institution. And here is a sample of the backlog certificate. Now here is a sample of an offer letter on your left. And on your right, there is a sample of a fee receipt which a student gets from the institute after paying the acceptance fee. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Swati. Now we will start with the visa requirement and the process. To start off with the visa, we have Mr. Sagar from the visa team. Over to you, Sagar.
Thank you, Nirja. Thank you, Swati. My voice is audible to you?
Yes, it is.
Great. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Sagar. Today, we will discuss on Ireland student visa application process. So first, allow me to share my screen. My screen is visible to all?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So Ireland student visa application. So this training we have divided into two factors. First one is fund calculation and second factor is visa financial documentation as per requirement of High Commission and Embassy. Visa and other fees. So for student visa application, we always need to apply in multiple entry visa. And the visa fee of that entry is 9,000 INR. So whenever we receive the application, first we need to calculate the funds, and to calculate we need to check the exchange rate. The €1 is depend on the current exchange rate, and we'll check from the site known as ONDM. We check this site because this site is used for High Commission and embassies for exchange to check the exchange rate actually. Now the first factor is tuition fee. We always take 1 year tuition fee, which will be mentioned in letter of acceptance. Then is a living cost. So here you can see there are two living costs, 7,000 and 12,000. If you remember in UK training, we already discussed that there are two living costs inside London and outside London. So same, factor, same practice is we follow in Ireland. 12,000 living cost is applicable for those students who are going to the university which is inside Dublin, and 7,000 living cost will be applicable for those those students who are going in the university which is outside London or in outskirts. So while adding these tuition fee and living cost, we can get the total amount. Now we will check what is the fee that student has already paid to the university or institute, and how much scholarship if he or she is getting. We subtract that amount from the total amount, and then we'll get a total balance, total funds that student need to show. Now that's about the fund calculation. Now we'll come to visa requirement, documentation requirement actually. So for documentation requirement, we required original original valid passport, color copy of all pages old and current. We required all pages color copy of passport, old passport and current passport. Letter of acceptance from the university or college. Student information sheet. This sheet is prepared by our office because while we're filling the application form, there are certain information that are not provided on the documentation, and to get those information, we prepared a separate questionnaire that we will share with you. So you or student can prepare the fill the questionnaire and share with me so that we can proceed for application form. NDVO, that's supplementary student application form that is required to submit at visa office. Proof of payment of the registration and tuition fee. So whatever fee the student has paid to the university or institute, they'll issue a separate payment receipt for that particular amount, and for that we required that student required that receipt to submit for the application process. Financial living, 7,000 and 12,000 estimate cost of the living in Ireland for student for 1 academic year. Statement for 6 months. For financials, student can provide the savings statement. Make sure the statement the student is providing is for last 6 months. If the student is providing FD, then we need to make sure that FD should be valid for last 6 months, and should be in future the validity should be extended to 1 year. That means FD should be active for last 6 months and valid for next 1 year. And student loan, education loan will also acceptable. 2 passport size photograph with 80% focus on face. SOP, that is statement of purpose. See, SOP is a letter which student need to provide explaining all the education history. If he or she is worked somewhere, then he or she can also provide the employment history. If there's any gap, then student can explain the reason for the gap, why he feel that Ireland is good for his further education, why he's not doing his course from India, and what are the future perspective of the course in India. So these all the student can explain in SOP document. Academics and English test copy, that is IELTS, PT, TOEFL. Academics, we require 10th grade onwards, and those documents which student has already shared with the university while attending the letter. In Ireland, student need to get the medical insurance coverage worth €50,000. There's a catch that student that 50,000 amount should be segregated in 2 factors. Minimum 25,000 should be for accidental cover and €25,000 should be for disease cover. Affidavit of sponsorship and self-affidavit. So as we mentioned earlier as well, self-affidavit is a requirement of PAC Asia. We'll share the format with you. Student can read all the description thoroughly and can sign, and it should be notarized. IDs of sponsors. Usually parents are the sponsors and they'll share their ID copies, the PAN card, Aadhaar card, passport copies they can share. PCC, that is police clearance certificate, and make sure the PCC should be attained from passport office, not from police station. Income of proof, that is sponsors can provide their ITR and other supporting documents. If the person is having a business, then they can provide the GST or tax returns. And he is salaried, then the person can provide salary slips and letter or appointment letter from the office. And the last document is property valuation. Now, additional document for students who are under 18. First one is birth certificate. So birth certificate, we need to make sure should be issued from the municipal corporation and it should be in English language. If the birth certificate is in any regional language, then we need to make sure that students should provide the English translation, notarized English translation of the certificate. consent from the parent or legal guardian, and also need to provide the accommodation proof where the student is residing in Ireland. Things to keep in mind for Ireland student visa application. So students are advised to submit the visa application form 4 months and up to 3 weeks before the course start date. So initially student can apply up to minimum to 4 months and up to 3 weeks. Student cannot apply before 4 months and after 3 weeks of the course start date. Ensure students should provide original and copies of all documentation. So all documentation should be presented in the form of copies, printouts, and original should be also carried. In Ireland, we need to make sure that there is no entitlement of the part of other family members to accompany or join the student under 18 in the state. So in Ireland, as discussed earlier, dependent visas are not acceptable. The submission of false or misleading information on documentation should be result or might be result in refusal of the visa application and application without the right to appeal. Even the student don't have right to appeal against the decision if he or she has provided incorrect, or you can say a misleading information. And this may also result that he shouldn't prevent it from making a further application from next 5 years. That means the High Commission can make a ban on the student for 5 years. Ensure all student visa application receive fair and equal treatment. Student visa application are dealt with in order they are received. This is strictly adhered to and no exceptions will be made. So High Commission will work on all first comes first serve basis, you can say. If the student is applying the application and the course start date is within 3 or 4 weeks, and if he wants to expedite the process, then they will not accept it. They'll accept the application, or they'll assess the application as per the submission date, not as per the travel date. Original documents are required and must be in English or accompanied by notarized translation. Now we talk about the processing time. The processing time is 15 working days. Visa multiple entry fee, as we discussed earlier, is 9,000 INR and VFS service charge is 3,518 Indian rupees. Visa process, as we discussed earlier in our earlier trainings as well. So once we receive the application, we'll assess that application and we'll share. If there's any pending document, we'll cascade those information with you. If required, we'll also make the fund verification. Once we receive the all pending documents from your side, then we'll reassess the application, and if we feel the application is good to go, then we'll launch that application and we'll wait for the outcome. That's it from my side. If you have any query, please feel free to write down in the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sagar. Now we will take on the few queries that is already there in the chat box. I think first query is from Mr. Bhupinder Singh. Any waiver of language test, if any? I think Aarti will be the best person to answer. Aarti?
Yes, Nija. Ireland does not give any waiver on language test. So the student has to go for either IELTS, TOEFL or PTE. So for admissions also and for visa also.
All right. And the next question is from Ms. Rinji. Is there any pathway agents in Ireland?
No, Ireland directly takes admission for either bachelor's, year 1 or master's.
Okay. I think this next question from Bhupendraji is for the admission team. Only acceptance fees, not full fee, to be paid before visa application.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, only acceptance fee is to be paid before the visa application. After doing the visa, if the student gets an approval, then only they need to pay the tuition fee.
Okay. Snehaji, I'm not able to understand the question which you have typed. Type of visa, I need to, please unmute yourself and ask your query.
Like I was going through the other countries which we had covered, they were like they have mentioned type of visa F1, J1 and all that. So is that something like in Ireland also? Just wanted to understand.
All right, I think Sagar will be the correct person to answer this.
Am I audible?
Yeah, they are
Okay.
asking for the
So
type of visa.
as of now, for student visa, there is only student visa process. There is no specification made by the commission.
Okay.
Right.
So what is that visa called normally when a person is going for Ireland? What is it like? Just a student visa normally. I mean, it's just migrating to this one, Ireland. That's it, right?
Yes, Ms. Neha, sorry to interrupt in between. The visa will be called as type D visa because in Europe or in Ireland, there are two categories, that is type C or type D. So C categorized as for short stay visa and type D will be a long stay visa. So any type of long stay visa you apply, that will be categorized as type D.
All right. The next question is from Mr. Velayat. Post-study visa, any extra charge to be paid by the student? Aarti.
It depends, but ideally there are some few euros that needs to be paid, but then students come to know about that amount once they are there. So for post-study work visa, there is a certain amount that students need to pay. The amount is not known at this point of time. Students come to know because they revise from time to time. So student comes to know once they are there, and their university's immigration service will help with the kind of expenses involved in the process. But yes, there is a charge for getting a post-study work right documentation.
All right. Any further questions? Kindly unmute yourself and ask so that we can answer your queries right away. You can type in your questions or you can unmute yourself.
Ma'am, there are no pathways in Ireland?
No, there are no pathways in Ireland. There are direct admissions only.
And only these two options are there, means the
Bachelor's and
UG.
masters.
Bachelor and masters, yes.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
the PG we can say.
Yeah, PG and UG.
PG and UG, yes.
All the degrees, bachelor's, honors, masters, masters by coursework, masters by research, all these are available, but no pathways.
No pathways, yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Any further queries?
Yeah.
Nehaji, I'm not able to hear your query. I'm sorry. Can you please repeat your question? Ms. Neha? I think she got disconnected. Any further questions or queries? Please ask right away.
Yeah, I have. Like earlier, we studied about UK, Australia, and all, and we have different groups which come under. I mean, many institutions which come under different classification, like Navitas and all, right? And we'll be, I mean, when a student is applying, he'll be applying for many universities.
Yeah.
And how does this come into play? This group, how does it come into play in the admission process?
So what happens is many of the universities have recruitment rights signed with these agencies, these kind of companies. So for example, if you go to Maynooth University, it will go through an education provider like Educo or Into. So the application will go through Into to that university. It will be a direct application, but there is a middle agency involved. So, but the student do not have to really, do anything extra for the admission process or anything additional documentation is required. It is one common, route to get admission, which will be followed through the agency.
Okay, like if it is like we are going to guide that particular student, somewhere in the application we have to select this group name, or how is it?
So generally, there is no need to tell the group name. It is directly the university where application goes, but at times there are forms of these agencies which needs to be filled. For example, we can have a form of university which says Upar Into, or study group, or like that. So that we have to explain to the student on case to case or university to university basis. However, whatever agency will be mentioned,
so we should
it will be a direct recruiting agency. So if you want to apply for the A university, sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
So you will be aware for sure. You will be aware that through, if at all, is this particular university have any tie-up with such recruitment agencies. So our team will inform you that it will be processed through that.
So we'll be specifying that while guiding them. I mean, while we are uploading, right?
Yeah. It will be, you will be knowing that whether it is going directly or anyways, it hardly makes any difference. At majority of the time, students don't know that there is any middle, company working for the recruitment. Majority of the time. But sometimes you get a form which says Upar mein the company's name, like Into, Navitas. Sometimes you get forms like that which student needs to fill for the submission of the application. So then it has to be explained to the student that they have the legal right to recruit Indian students. So anybody who will be applying in that university, through any of the agency, the same form will be there in front of the student. So before,
like while going through for assessment test, what is that conditional, unconditional, and rejection? What is that difference between conditional and unconditional, whatever it is? So I couldn't recall the term.
Okay. So I believe my admission partner explained it. Conditional offer letter is a letter wherein, as per some parameters, you are accepted, normally the academic parameters, but still few of the documents are still pending, like final mark sheets, English course. So these are generally two documentation on which conditional offers are being issued by the university, which the student need to provide in due course of time to get an unconditional offer. As the name itself suggests, there are no condition left for the admission. So for example, if I'm talking about a bachelor's degree and the predicted 12th grade of a student is approximately say 90%, the student will apply, university will give him a conditional offer letter expecting that he will score 90 or above. So that is a conditional offer letter which will clearly mention what all conditions are pending. For example, that same student does not have an English score. Ireland accepts application without English scores at the time of application. So there will be two conditions. Number one, the student should meet the minimum percentage this much, whatever is that particular university's entry requirement in their final exams. Point two, proof of English proficiency, IELTS, TOEFL, PT, whatsoever, with minimum bands of ITNA and overall ITNA. So say these two are conditions. So once in due course of time, the student can fulfill both the conditions. That means he'll get his 12th marks, and which should be above the predicted scores, above the minimum percentage requirement, good enough. That mark sheet will be shared with the university. Secondly, if English condition is there, then before the final offer, that score needs to be shared with the university. The student should give the exam in due course of time before getting it.
And one more doubt I have, like generally in India, if you see, when you apply for state, counseling and all for technical education. Like we'll be giving priority, like in Tamil Nadu, we'll while we attend the counseling, we'll give a priority one, this college or this university, like that. 5 to 6 universities or college name we mentioned. And is this how we follow even for students when they go to study abroad, or we have to separately apply for each and every university?
So yes, separate application goes for each and every university. So normally one student application, 3 to 4 maximum applications are allowed. Maximum, I believe admission member said 3 applications. So 3 applications of one student in one go is allowed. So 3 different, so whatever, some application has online application wherein the account has to be created, filled everything online and then submitted. Some have paper applications. Some have direct application from agency portal. So we only need documents in that case, and LORs and SOPs. So there are different modes of application. So depending on what mode for a university where the student wish to apply requires, our team will help you with that. So if it is a paper application, we'll share the soft copy with you over the email. You have to get it filled, signed by the student, and share all the document required. That list of document required will also be available with you. So everything will be there with you so that you can arrange the same from the student and share it with the our team. Also, by any chance, if you miss something and which is required for mandatory required for admission, our team will get back to you saying, hey, this is missing, kindly arrange for the same ASAP so that we can complete the submission process. So that's how it goes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There is another question in the chat box. Which is the best time to apply to the universities in Ireland?
So ideally, the best time is, so if we say undergrad students, once we have our predicted scores with us, we are ready to apply. Of course, December end, January first week, because we have to keep a track of deadlines for many of the universities for undergrad courses. For masters, when the student has their so if it is a 3 years bachelor's, then we need at least 5 semester mark sheets. If it is a 4 years bachelor's, then we need at least 7 semesters mark sheet handy with us to apply for application in any of the university. Now, if at all some universities have delays in getting their mark sheets, then unfortunately the intakes are also deferred and delayed. So nobody can help in that. It is not that they will consider, they will keep your application on hold till the time at least 5th or 7th semester mark sheet is available, because they will assess on that behalf. So that is the good time. However, many universities do have deadlines. So if it is undergrad, it should be December, January. We should be, really aware where we wish to apply, what are the deadlines. For masters, again, January, February is the good time to apply. And yes, we need to check if we want to apply 1, 2, 3 university, our team will help in getting you the deadlines and you can follow those deadlines. So if the deadline is 15th of February for fall intake, then whatsoever mark sheets are available, we have to apply with that only. And the team will keep on sharing the documents as and when received by the student and required for the application process. So I believe that clears the question.
Yeah. All right. Any further queries you have? Kindly keep on typing or raise your hand. Advisors, if you have any question, any queries, you can type in so that we can answer your queries. Or we understand that the training was a good one and we have answered all your queries. There is no more doubts or questions related to the Ireland. Thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you Aarti, Sagar, Swati for joining in, and thanks everyone. So we will meet again on Wednesday for Study in Canada training. Thank you everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.